Oh,
Otim.
Yo,
What's
what's
up?
up, man?
What are you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, are we ready to do this?
We're ready. I'm ready. We've been
Yeah,
planning. We've been speaking about it. We've done like a pre-game. I think we're ready.
yeah. We're gonna be talking about something slightly controversial, but it's good. It's something people don't often talk about, but I think that's why this podcast will be quite interesting.
Exactly. And
So,
it's all in the title. Like, so people are gonna see the title. The title is Peacocking is good. Peacocking is good. It's not necessarily bad. All right. So let's kind of get into what it is we think this means and why
yeah,
we think peacocking is good. So,
yeah, definitely.
in other words, I would say it's kind of like celebrate doing your demons.
Yeah, which
Don't,
I think in any personal development situation, anyone would tell you that's a good thing. Celebrating doing something, that's good. Celebrating the wins, small wins. It's essentially what we're
exactly. So,
advocating.
the flip side is like not chastising people who make a big deal out of doing a big task they've done. Right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, peacocking in its definition is someone who is showing off because they've done something, right?
Yeah.
And for them, this thing is like such a massive, huge ass task. But for someone who's on the opposite end of the animal spectrum, it's like
nothing.
wow, I do that in my sleep, bro.
Yeah, it's like breathing. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's, yeah, absolutely. And I think it's more of a subjective thing that the person doing it, they need to celebrate that, because at the end of the day, it's their progress. Even if it doesn't look good to the person on the opposite spectrum, if you're gonna grow, you should celebrate that, you know.
Exactly.
So that should be the priority, rather than, you know, the flip of like that was nothing.
Exactly. So
yeah,
if we do then, like if we're not actually chastising people who make big deals and then being a peacock, and we actually kind of like encourage it, what do you think are the benefits, or what do you think will happen in that process?
you're creating not only a positive loop in, like, it's not just coming from you, but if other people are like, yeah, that's good, that's like your environment supporting you to do your demons more. So
Right.
you're increasing the odds you do your demons in the future,
That's
because
so
you're
interesting.
creating
Yeah.
a more positive association. That's the idea behind this podcast anyways.
I hear like,
Maybe it's something we can test it out. Maybe
yeah,
it doesn't work out in reality. Maybe it's a bad thing, but to us at least, I think this is a good direction.
from the things we've learned and heard about like self-growth and even just growth in general, it's like there's always this celebrate positive behavior
Yeah,
mentality. Like when you're raising kids,
yeah, absolutely.
when
Nurture.
yeah, it's like a positive feedback loop, right? It's basically, and if you reward, just like if you kind of celebrate yourself in the task you're doing, you're kind of building this feedback loop in your brain.
Yes. Yeah.
That's gearing and rewiring your brain to think more positively about the thing.
Exactly. So that you will be motivated to do it in the future. It's like you're watering the seed, that seed.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
if it's your demons, since it's so underdeveloped or unappreciated by you, celebrating it just helps so much, because you don't naturally have that. So being extra and peacocking kind of helps fill that void in a way, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
And I wanted to get your thoughts on like the mentality of like, so if you Google like rewarding positive behavior, like you get all these articles about kids and stuff and how to raise kids, blah 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 blah, which is great.
Yeah.
But like there's not a lot of information that I've seen out there that basically says, hey, you know, once you're an adult, like you still need to that kind of disappears, right? Like once you turn 18, that like rewarding good behavior barrier you get from your parents is kind of gone, right?
Goes away. Yeah.
And if you're not aware of that, like you're kind of gonna not grow as much.
Yeah, you'll just go on autopilot. You'll go on
Autopilot.
autopilot because you're not stretching yourself. Because as a kid, when you do that with as a parent, where you're guiding them towards this behavior with like the carrot at the end of the stick, like do this thing for this reward, you're stretching the kid because now you're opening them up to a new lane of like behavior and way of viewing the world. But if as an adult, you also you want to stretch yourself as well in a direction, because I think it's harder when you have to do it yourself.
100%.
That's why I think it makes it even more good that, let's say in the OP community, if people are supportive of peacocking, then it does create that kind of weird structure again where outside forces are also like encouraging you.
Yes, exactly. And
so
this,
it works in that weird way.
And this really makes me think about religion in a way. Because I mean, I literally all these things, for some reason, like every time we talk about different systems and things like that, like I can always relate it back to religion somehow. And the point there being is that, like, if you are brought up in a religion, you still kind of have that like outer or upper authority type thing that's kind of guiding you, right? It's like you believe in this God, you follow the book, and there's a certain path, right? So in some ways, even adults are able to still get that similar feedback loop.
The structure and the,
you know what I mean?
Definitely. That's a really good point. You know, I think I can't remember, I don't have exact statistics, and I think I can't even remember the exact source. I think this was a psychiatrist saying this, but I think he said the rate of mental health is significantly lower in like the groups of people that are religious compared to not religious. I think just having that the structure and the direction in front of you, it gives you those like guardrails, you know.
Exactly.
It's like
but the thing is, you don't need religion, like
you don't exactly. It's more of what it does, the function of it, rather than the thing
science
itself.
of religion, right? And if you try to explain this to someone who's religious, they will probably get offended. But
depends. Some people.
Not everyone.
Yeah.
But maybe some people.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say religion is bad. I'm not trying to say that not religion is bad. I'm just trying to say, like, you can choose religion, you can choose science, you can choose a pathway. Just be open to it all kind of being the same. Exactly. This is probably too much NE, but anyway.
Yeah, it's so intuitive. All these different things, they're all kind of the same.
All these completely unrelated concepts are all the same.
It's
you
true.
Follow though, right? Like, are you able to actually like?
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah, it makes. I believe the same thing. Like, I like, that's why, you know, I'm not religious either, but I respect it, because when I see someone who's religious, I see that. I don't care about the specifics of the religion. I'm like, oh, this person has this stability. They have this core thing in their life that someone might find that in their other personal disciplines. Like when someone is an athlete, that sport is their religion. When someone's doing this, like I like it when people have that in any capacity. I'm like, oh, I can see this. Like, this is why this person has a good life.
It's dedication to something.
And something that because not everything will force you to stretch in a good direction, but it's something that has standards.
Exactly. So that was a really kind of long, deep tangent on why you should reward good behavior and why like choosing a pathway or a system or something to be dedicated to can help you with growth and can help you get that positive feedback loop. All right, let's move on a bit. So keeping the peacocking is good statement alive, let's talk about the objective personality culture, the community, right?
Yeah.
And
definitely.
what's the culture is like when it comes to peacocking. Like, is peacocking frowned upon? Is it a good thing? What do you think?
Yeah, me and you have been there since the start, and I think generally it is kind of frowned upon. And it comes from more of a perspective of, oh, it's a bit embarrassing, right? If someone peacocks, it's a bit embarrassing,
right?
Because when you type people, you're trying to see how they kind of lie to themselves. So if someone's doing it in the community, it's like, oh, you haven't escaped your previous patterns of tricking yourself, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it's viewed, which I understand. I get that. It's just that there's so much functional benefit from it that I think we need to break out of that mindset a little bit. But yeah, what about you, man? What have you seen?
I agree what you say. And I think there's like two parts to it. So there's sometimes, like, if you're peacocking, sometimes you're not aware of it, right? And that's kind of like the beginning of the OP journey. Like, you come in unconscious as hell, and you're not always aware of what you're doing and how it could be peacocking, right? Until you start to understand what peacocking is. You see examples like, holy shit, you get this like, oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot.
Yeah.
Realization, right? At that point, I think, like, that's when you. Sorry, let me take a step back. So when you're not aware of peacocking, I think the only way to get the awareness and to get the more, basically the consciousness of your own self expanded, you do need to go through that, like, tribe feedback phase.
Poking at you.
Yes, poking. People need to
definitely
poke you, right?
Yeah.
To kind of get to that state of awareness. But
expanding
I think,
your awareness, yeah.
But I think on the flip side, once you are more aware of yourself, I think that you should still be allowed to peacock, or at least not be afraid to peacock, even if you're going to be aware of it. Like, just do it, you know what I mean? And like, that's a really good distinction, actually. Because when you start allowing yourself to peacock, it's like, hey, well, I did this small little thing, yes, but I'm actually just kind of celebrating, and I'm having a laugh at it. I'm laughing at myself because I created an Excel file and created 2 columns, and that was really hard for me. So now I'm going to celebrate, right? And people, you get the feedback, people will celebrate, and it's like, all right, I'm going to go back and keep doing this because it's actually fun with it.
And this is, I think, right now I thought of like 2 terms. Like, we can define it unconscious peacocking and conscious peacocking. So unconscious is when you do it like before, like how before you get your OP type, you don't realize this is your demons, and you're like drinking your own Kool-Aid, so to speak. It's kind of like you're unaware that it's almost like there's the curve of like consciousness where what is it called?
It's like a bell
ignore
curve.
that. It's a bell curve, and it's like incompetent, competent. All right, okay.
I think I know what you're talking about. This sounds familiar.
Yeah. Forget that.
Keep going.
But basically, pre-OP, we're kind of unaware how bad we are at the demon, but we are peacocking, thinking we're good. So that's a problem, because it's like we're unconscious to the objective reality whilst getting happy, right? That's bad, because this is the thing. Peacocking when you're unconscious is like, oh, I'll do a little bit of this thing. Oh, I'm so good at it, I'm not gonna do it again because I'm so good at it. But what we're talking about is when you've got your OP type, you've been kind of shocked into how much you peacock. Now, when you're excited, when you do a little thing with your demons, you're still aware that I am bad at this thing. So I do suck, but I'm just so happy I did it good. So I still have a lot of work to do in the future. So I'll come back to it. I will come back to it. But now I'm happy to come back to it.
It's like,
that's
building something, like, or you got a sword that's blunt because you never used it, or it's And you're just slowly sharpening it. You know, every day you're making it a
Yeah.
little bit sharper until it's going to slice
Yeah.
through, you know, like that commercials where like they can slice through a tomato with like
Yeah.
really push on a knife.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And that's it. And I think our demons have to kind of like, they grow that way, like that gradual process. Because we're never gonna like, because if you just went all in, you'd kind of just stress yourself, you'd burn out. So you do need that, like,
exactly.
you know.
So, and you know, if you are in OP community and you have OP friends, like, allow people to peacock sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, unless they're being ridiculous. But you know, if they are making some progress, you know, don't like. I love the thing about OP where you can just tear people to shreds and people don't really like get offended.
You can't say anything. You can't say shit.
Evidence, right? You got evidence right there.
You're being called out.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I love about OP, because you can get away with roasting people. But if you're gonna roast people, you need to do the flip side. You need to do the opposite and like overpraise, you know, on some things, right?
Yeah.
Like give them love, hugs, kisses, emojis, you know, you're the best. Put them on a pedestal a bit.
Yeah, for sure. I think my policy in general has been, if someone is like showing me their demons, even if it's like they're not peacocking but they're swinging, I try not to call them out too like harshly. I'm not like, oh look how much you're showing your junk, you know. I try to be as supportive as I can be, because at the end of the day, like, what will help them learn from it? I don't know how well people learn from like having their pants pulled down, you know. So generally trying to be supportive while guiding is my policy. I don't know if that's the best policy, but,
unless they're being a real dick, you know, in front of everyone.
That's true.
Then sometimes you have to call it out, you know. I've done that a few times.
There is a line. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. Yeah, and I think maybe if someone is, it kind of sucks though, because if you're more extroverted, let's say you're play blast, and your demons will be more likely to get called out because you'll be interacting with the tribe. So it does suck sometimes for them, I feel like sometimes, just because they're interacting and you see the demons come out. Whereas for me and you, I feel like it doesn't come out in public as much.
What do you mean? So it doesn't come out in public?
I don't know. I think introverts generally hide their shit better because we're not like as engaged with the tribe.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
Yeah,
there's a lot of energy there. Like if you poke the tribe, it's a lot of DE you have to do back, you know.
Yeah. So
that's kind of why we kind of, and especially as a feminine DE, maybe masculine DE is a bit different, but
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was just me reflecting on. I feel like we miss out some roasting a bit more, which is, we're a bit more luckier that way. But that's a bit of a side tangent. But shout out to the extroverts out there. But yeah,
they're all awesome. All those play firsts, play blasters.
Sure.
Except the sleep blasters. Fuck them. No, sleep blasters are fun.
Yeah. I wish I was sleep blast, Loki.
Wait, sleep blast or sleep blast?
Oh, so right. I kind of wish I was sleep blast too, just to see what it's like. Just to not be lead sleep.
I'm still confused if you're saying sleep last or sleep blast.
Yeah, because when you clarified, I realized you did say sleep last. So sleep last that would be fun, just to put on that hat.
Would be fun.
Yeah.
Just imagine never stopping, like never getting tired.
I can't. Exactly. That's my number one issue. I know this is like a very energy dome thing. I know we're changing topics. We'll go back real quick.
Yeah, we'll go.
I feel like my number one issue in life is being tired. I hate that.
Yes.
But it's a constant issue. I have to like navigate supplements, exercise, whatever. But that's my number one enemy. It just binds me. Yeah.
I wish I could just look at a calendar and just be back to back like
Boom.
things to do, and just go through all of them
Just
without stopping.
Just do it. Yeah.
Without stopping.
Exactly. Yeah.
Man.
Oh man. And
Shout
if
out
we
to
do
Blast.
that, it's like we take such a hit on the back end.
Yeah,
that
we
have
do.
to. It's
like the next day is like no talking at all.
Yeah.
Don't even open our mouths.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
All right, let's get back to topic.
Yeah, back on topic. And to kind of summarize it, well, the last kind of notes here I had was just kind of around what you can do to give people credit when they're doing the demons, but not just in OP, but like in life as well. Like, you know, there is life outside of OP, and people have types outside of OP. So that's one thing I just keep forgetting sometimes. It's like people that aren't in the OP community don't have a type. That's another topic for another day. But like people are gonna peacock regardless of their in OP or not. Like your friends, your brother, your mom, your dad, your auntie, your uncle. So yeah, if they are peacocking, then just say, well done, mate. Good job. Out on the back.
Yeah. You can judge them in your head, but then how you respond to them, you know, it's what they need.
Or just send them a passive aggressive email to say, hey, you could have done this better.
you can it's like a sandwich: praise, criticize, praise.
Yeah.
So you can say the second thing of like, you could have done this better, but then say, but well done.
Yeah.
For doing this
compliment sandwich.
Yeah, for sure. Because they can't get too cocky. You know, you gotta let them know there's more to do. Exactly.
2 compliments gives you permission to punch. Nice. Did you have any more any more thoughts or points you wanted to finish up on?
Yeah, rewarding good behavior. This is something I've been learning about. So I've been learning about dopamine a lot. Andrew Huberman's podcast is great for like neuroscience stuff if anyone's interested. He does a 2-hour lecture basically about dopamine, which was really cool if anyone's interested. And he talks about a misconception we have with rewarding ourselves. So in this case, rewarding yourself for doing your demons. And he says how rewarding yourself after a difficult task is actually a bad thing, because what happens is your brain associates more so the reward with the good part, and you actually take away from the thing you did. In fact, how he describes it is while you're doing the thing, time expands, it feels longer, it sucks, it's like worse. The experience is worse because you're so focused on the reward. And not only that, you're less motivated to do it in the future. What he says is a better thing to do is scrap the reward at the end of your difficult task. What's actually much better is self-talk during the difficult thing. Telling yourself and focusing on what you're getting out. Like the difficulty is something you kind of have to fall in love with. It's like, like, I don't know how to, let me give maybe
I get what you mean. So I think what, like, another way of putting it is like, look for reasons why you should do this thing.
Yes. And kind of talk yourself
and get excited about those reasons.
While doing the thing.
That's very interesting. It's something that I've actually noticed that I have found myself doing at time to time when I do need to do something difficult. It's like, this thing sucks, so I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to research about why it's good. Yeah. And then I'm going to start tricking my brain.
That's good NF as well. That's good.
Holy
NF
shit.
too.
This is like, that's this really thing actually influences this and this. It's like, you know, working out as an example. And I'm always going to use working out as examples. It's because a lot of people hate it because like they have to go and do something physical. They have to get out of bed. They have to sacrifice 30 minutes a day for what? Well, I'm not overweight. I'm not I eat healthy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah,
I'm
but like,
fine. Yeah.
It's not just about your physical, your physique. It's about like your mental, like it improves your mental state of awareness. It improves your brain function. It improves like your...
It's one of the key ways to help with your cognitive function, your intelligence and everything. I was quite surprised when I learned that because it puts you in a peak condition in your mind as well, not just your body, you know. Exactly. So that's kind of the same thing, right? Like that you're saying. Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's literally, And finding that for your demons and then bringing that to life while you're like literally David Goggins. Like that's what Andrew Huberman was saying. Like his approach, that self-talk thing while you're doing the thing. Like you're giving yourself dopamine with the process. It's not about the reward. It's like and doing that makes you want to do it in the future. You're actually more motivated to do it in the future. It's counterintuitive because everyone assumes reward at the end is good, but it's that self-talk.
And through that process, like you like after you've trained your brain enough, you basically, it just becomes a habit, right?
Yeah.
And therefore this thing,
it still sucks. Like he said, it will still always suck, but the habit will be like it's easier to get into the self-talk.
Yes, and it's easier like to get back into the habit, the swing.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like again, working out, like it's something that I like. I love doing, and I always feel so good, like when I'm doing it and after I'm doing it. But there's still days or even up to a week where I'm like, "Fuck this, I'm not doing it."
Yeah,
and I just put it off for a week. But I can easily swing myself back into it.
Come back. Exactly. Yeah. 80-20, and so that was just a little nuance. 80-20. Leveraging whatever gets you the overall results. And that's a little nuance on basically how to handle rewarding yourself for doing your demons. Don't do it at the end. Do it like self-talk and then be happy that you did it by peacocking at the end.
That was a great ending. Great way to end. Cool. Well, thanks guys. Thanks for listening. Please feel free to leave any nasty feedback. Please punch us in the demons. That. Tell us how shit we are at blasting and how we're all over the place and really messy. Please keep the feedback coming in.
We need that.
But also tell us we're great.
Yeah, we need that too.
Cool.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a bit.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And let us know if this works for you, if it doesn't work for you, or if you have arguments against this, because this does push against the grain a little bit. So, yeah. Take it easy, everyone.
Ciao. Goodbye.